Hi everyone, and welcome to this webinar on content marketing brought to you by Shortcuts. I'm Kylie Lewis and I'm the founder of Kin, a business coaching and consultancy business. And I wanted to give you a little bit about me just before we spend the next few minutes together. I believe that life is too short for ironing. Maybe you do too. I believe in the power of a good nap. Nothing works as good as after you've had a good sleep. I believe things only get better by talking about them, which is why I love my job and talking with businesses about things that perhaps they could do better, how they can go about structuring their work and their days and getting better business results. I believe in leaps of faith, and every week I write a blog post on someone who's made a courageous career change, a courageous career leap. And actually published a book about that at the end of last year as well. And I believe in choosing courage over comfort, which as a digital marketer or a content creator is something that's a really important characteristic to have, because as in digital, things change quickly and you can never know absolutely everything that you need to know in order to get stuff done. And so having the courage to jump in and to have a go and to find out as you keep going is really important. So I've worked in the digital marketing sector for just on 20 years actually, and started my career in digital as a business consultant for Fairfax City Search back in 1997 when I was out on the road, door to door, helping small businesses getting their websites online and converting their emails that they were getting through the website into their fax machines that they still had. So things have changed quite a bit since then. Today we're going to talk about these 4 questions. The first thing is, what exactly is content marketing? Then what are the top things to keep in mind when creating content? Then how is it relevant to your business and how can you master it? And what is involved in a successful content marketing strategy? So the first thing, what is content marketing? Content marketing is not about what you sell, it's absolutely about what you stand for. So I want you to think of content marketing more like a cocktail party than a hardcore sales networking event. Content marketing is about getting to have a conversation with potential clients. It's about building up likability, trust, how people get to know you, so that then you stay top of mind and tip of tongue when people are considering the services that you have or are looking to give a referral to someone or to rebook you again. So when we go to a networking event or when we're in a sales environment, we actually don't like being sold to all the time. So we want to think of content marketing more like a cocktail conversation where we're at a party and we get to know people, where we have a conversation about the things that interest them and that light them up, and things that they want to have a chat with, other than just do you want to be my client, or can I sell you this thing? So I want you to keep in mind that content marketing is much more like a cocktail party than it is a networking event. If we look at the definition by the Content Marketing Institute, the idea is that content marketing is the strategic marketing approach of creating and distributing valuable, relevant, and consistent content to attract and acquire a clearly defined audience with the objective of driving profitable customer action. Whew, that's a bit of a mouthful. But all it means is that we are strategic in thinking about what kind of content do we want to be putting out there for what purpose, and that we do create it and then distribute it, and that it's valuable and relevant and consistent to a particular audience that we're looking to serve, with the idea that it will drive profitable customer action. And so it's not about pitching all of your products or services. It's about delivering information that makes your buyer more intelligent. And the essence of this strategy is the belief that if we as businesses deliver consistent, ongoing, valuable information to buyers, they ultimately reward us with their business and their loyalty. So if we feel like a business actually is genuinely interested in taking care of us, in making our lives easier, in helping us reach our goals, then we're much more likely to build a trusting relationship where we do actually engage in a transaction with them down the track. There are 6 different kinds of content. There are probably a lot more, but let's start with these 6 for the sake of this webinar. So when you come to think about, well, what kinds of content would be suitable for my business, these 6 categories can be really great placeholders for you to think about. The first one is education, where you are offering yourself as an expert and where you can offer insights and helpful information to help people make a decision or to learn something that they didn't know or to be able to make a useful comparison. Where you can also perhaps even give them an offering or a sample of the kinds of things that it is that you offer that can help them learn some new things that they hadn't thought about. A bit like this webinar today, actually. Community is where we give people a sense of what it is like to be part of what we're about and the kinds of things that we do, the kinds of people that we hang out with, the kinds of things that we enjoy, that we believe, that we stand for. It's about showing how people can feel understood in our community. It's that they belong with us and they're connected with us. And this one is really indicative of what Seth Godin, the marketing expert, said when he talked about marketing being a demonstration of people like us do stuff like this. So it could be an example of the kinds of things that your staff are interested in doing and how they are growing themselves within the business based on their interests. It could be giving about any idea of the kinds of clients that you have and the types of things that they're interested in and how they've also been positively impacted by the things that you have to offer. It could also be the kind of company that you keep. So it could be, are you part of a local community of other businesses, or do you support other organisations within your community? Do you have, complementary businesses that you also work with and collaborate with? So community is all about showing how you live your brand and the things that you stand for. Timely is really powerful. Timely is about producing content that has a timed reason for being delivered right now. So that might mean if we think about June in the Southern Hemisphere in Melbourne, in Australia, where I'm sitting, June is the start of winter. We've had our ski season start. We've got winter food and fashion all happening right now. We had the Queen's birthday long weekend, so we all got an extra day. We've also had the winter solstice, so it's been our shortest day with long nights. We've got school holidays about to start in many states at the end of the month. And we've also got the end of the financial year happening this Friday on the 30th of June. So there's potentially lots of different types of content that I could be tapping into that's timely with the audience that I'm looking to attract or have a conversation with. So planning out your calendar and thinking, well, what's actually happening that we could also talk about. Inspiration is giving people content that makes them feel something, makes them think something, or is a belief perhaps that they also share. So are they moved? Is there some kind of emotional resonance? Does the kind of content that you're producing make them laugh or spark some joy or some curiosity? Is it heartwarming? Does it make me think, oh, I feel that too? Is it surprising, something that they hadn't expected to see? So inspiration, if for those of you that are on Instagram, inspirational quotes are big like that, or, the posts that say, I'd rather be here, or, dreaming of this, or little memes that, kind of tap into sort of a common human emotion or thought or feeling that we have. Behind the scenes is where we give potentially exclusive access, where you might only get access to this kind of information if you're on this particular channel or you're on this email list. It's also potentially about keeping it real and being authentic. So how do we actually make people kind of see what it is that goes into doing what we do, so that we can, to some extent, demystify any kind of doubts or concerns or worries people have, or just give them an insight into, a human side of us, to being the funny sort of moments that, here's the beautiful end result, and here's all the things that we needed to go to get through. We want a sense of humanity and realness, as well as also being made to feel a little bit special by having that sort of access. And then the last theme is about selling. So if you think about, if you were on social, for example, you might have these 6 themes as a daily theme. So on Monday it might be education, Tuesday it might be community, Wednesday it might be timely, Thursday might be inspiration, Friday might be behind the scenes, and Saturday might be selling, or some, kind of mix of that. You might do, completely different order. You might do a couple on the same day. It might make more sense to do a selling post on a Tuesday if you're thinking about trying to get bookings for the weekend, as an example. But our selling posts are just one kind of post that are a mix amongst all of the others. They can be social proof, so it might be sort of a before and after. It could be a testimonial from a client. It could be a review that you've had that you might want to share. It's a way of also demonstrating how you've created joy or alleviated pain. Because as humans, those are the 2 things that we tend to be motivated by. It could be a promotional offer, so it could be a limited edition, special bonus bundle, or an offer that's coming to an end. It could be a sale, or it could be a new release. So there could be some timeliness around it as well. But these posts also have a call to action. So when you're actively going after a pitch, it might be that you actually want them to do something as a result of seeing this, and we'll give you some examples in just a second. So these are the different kinds of content that you could be thinking about. And then the types of content that those themes could play out in. Social media posts, yes, but they're not the only things. So you might also be considering in-person events or live streams as examples as well. You might also think about your email newsletter. That's definitely a type of content. Any case studies or articles also are great content that you could also use in your newsletters and in your social media posts as well. Or they could also become blogs, or conversely, vice versa. Any white papers, webinars like this is definitely a piece of content marketing as well. And then your traditional print mags and newsletters, videos. The rise of video is huge. We've got some interesting statistics about that in the content marketing course that I'll talk to you about right at the very end. Research reports, podcasts, digital magazines, ebooks, and lookbooks. Lookbooks tend to be really successful for inspiration and getting people to think about the kinds of things that they would like or know that you're capable of doing. And then how-tos and checklists are also huge as well. There's a lot of how-to videos on YouTube, particularly in the hair and beauty space. So there's nothing stopping you potentially also creating your own videos to build up your brand awareness and brand identity. And I think Dry Bar in the US have a really great YouTube channel for things like that. Top things to keep in mind when creating content. Okay, I have 5 things for you to consider. The first thing is, what do you stand for? And this really goes to the heart of your brand. So what are your beliefs as a brand? Sometimes when I ask this question, people say, well, we exist because we are here to make money. Well, that's actually a result of why your business actually exists. Your why for your business is rooted in beliefs you have about servicing other human beings in a particular way for a particular purpose. So why does your business exist? What does it stand for? What does it believe in? And one of the activities that we get you to do in the content marketing course is to actually just write a list of up to 50 things that you believe in as a human being. And these things will be they will carry across both your business and personal lives because you're the same person no matter where you are. But it's basically writing down a list of 50 things that you believe in. No two business owners will ever write the same list. No two businesses will ever have the same list. But on that list, it'll give you an insight as to the things that you think are important, the kind of language that you use, and then hints and insights into the kinds of content that you could potentially be producing. Beyond that, you've then got your absolute your individual brand and your identity. So all the things that go with your brand. So how is it that you bring those beliefs to life? From the physical experience of coming in and experiencing one of your services to the environment, to all the touch points that a customer will have, and we often think of a brand as being our logo, but that's just only one part of it. There's a whole bunch of other things that come out of that in terms of how we actually treat people. What are our standards? What's our code of conduct? How do we do things differently from other people? What would people say about us as to how we are different from others? And then how do we look and sound and feel and even smell different from other people? How do we bring all those beliefs that we have to life? And then how do we put that fingerprint on every piece of content that we then produce, from our flyers to our blog posts to our lookbooks, to our photo shoots? And our photo shoots, are they styled a particular way? Do they have a particular feel? Do they have is there a color palette that we stick to when we think about producing imagery that is distinctly our brand identity? The second thing is, who are you aiming to serve? And this is where we sit down and we go through a persona template and we talk about what kinds of clients do we aim to serve, what kind of clients do we want more of, what kind of clients do we actually service. And in the content course that I talk about, we will often go up to 6 personas. And when we then break down the personas, we give each persona a name, where they live, what their family situation is like, the things that they like to do. We get a real sense of who they are, but then we focus in specifically on what are their goals, aspiration, pain points, and pressing needs. Because until we know those things, it's very difficult to then produce content that can address all of those things and that can build that trust and likability and knowability about us. So the personas is really important. It's about who are you serving, and how are you making their pain points less painful? How are you meeting their needs? How are you helping them reach their goals and aspire to the things that they wish for themselves? The third thing is then, where are they hanging out? So getting to know what platforms where they're hanging out. So for example, if you are aiming at targeting 18-year-old formal girls going to their formal, you're more likely to find them, say, on Instagram or Snapchat than you are on Facebook. But if you are aiming to target, say 55-year-old women, they're probably more likely to be on Facebook than they are on Snapchat. So you can think about, well, where are my content efforts the best? One thing I will say is that everyone uses email, regardless of what social media platform they're on. Everyone will use email every day. So don't forget to make sure that in your content marketing strategy that you've got a really solid reason for people to sign up to your newsletter or to be incentivized to sign up for a reason on your website, because you actually own your email list and your website. You only rent space on social media, and everybody uses social media. And then the places that they're hanging out, these actually might be physical places. So are they actually hanging out in the local area? Do they go to nearby cafes? Do they shop at local shopping centres? Do they use any other service providers in your area that are complementary. So there's opportunities for potentially cross promotion or for popping up, in other places. Making sure that if you do have a lot of passing traffic, obviously making sure that what they can see from the front of your business is helpful and interesting and useful, and also changing, so they don't get bored, and so you can keep grabbing their attention. And then what times are they there? So if you're thinking about social media posting, for example, you can go into your analytics on your business accounts for Facebook and Instagram and see when your followers are most likely to be on. And that's very likely to be either first thing in the morning or last thing at night, but it does depend on who you're actually talking to. So if you are targeting new mums, you might find that you get a peak at 3 a.m. during that 3 a.m. feed, or the 3 p.m. school pickup feed, time you also might find that that's a good posting time. The fourth thing is what will help them know, like, and trust you. And that taps back into those 6 themes that we just talked about. So how can you educate them, inspire them, entertain them, be timely, and help them make them feel special? So digging back into those themes is really important. And then the last thing gets also back to that call to action. What is it that you would like them to do as a result of your content? Would you like them to like your post, or to comment, or to share, or to click, or to call, or to buy, or to book in? You need to have an ask. So don't have people second guessing, oh, this looks great. But encourage them to say, click here to book in, or call this number now to find out some more information, or download this white paper or lookbook for some more inspiration or insights. So never forget the ask. Who is it relevant to, and how can you master it? So I want to ask you, when was the last time you can think of anything that you wanted to buy, do, or know? What did you do? And I'm betting that you did this, and so did your clients. So the research tells us that 70% of pre-shopping happens in Google. We go online and we do a search, and more we're doing that on our phones. And interestingly, this research also showed the really important dominance of local searching as well. We search for local businesses online. So when we think about content marketing, those search results and what comes back is a mixture of different kinds of content. So it might be a YouTube video, it might be a review, it might be a blog, it might actually be a website, it could be a Google ad that pops up, it might be a Pinterest board. So content marketing is really about thinking, well, where could our content pop up where people are likely to look for us, or the kinds of people that we want most likely to look for us. So if your business is interested in having new customers discover you online and get further down the track to actually becoming a client and find out more about you, then you are a candidate for content marketing. I couldn't imagine any business today that wouldn't have a need or couldn't benefit from some form of content marketing in some way, shape, or form. This is a model for content strategy, and it might look a little bit complicated, but basically if we break it down, at the heart of this, we're looking at our goals. Why do we actually want to engage in content marketing? What is it that we want to do? Do we want to grow an email list to a certain number, because we know that every time that we send an email, X% will open it and X% will click through and make a booking? Do we want to grow a sizable Instagram following, so that again, when it comes to putting in that sell post, that we know that it will convert to a certain point? Or do we want to make sure that we're kept top of mind, so when people are thinking about referring us, that we're there? Do we want to become known for something? Do we want to make sure that whenever somebody thinks about a particular topic, that we're known for that? So is it a branding exercise to try and get us onto the homepage of Google? So, you know, we're the people that's there. So what is it that we're trying to achieve? And then what are our tactics if we start at the top? You know, that comes into then, well, knowing the platforms and where people are hanging out that you want to target, and then thinking about the kinds of content that they're going to be interested in. We come down to assets and we dig back into our brand guidelines and our style guide, and we dig into our calendar. So what is it that's coming up that might make sense for us to talk about, that we could sensibly promote post content around? Then the people, who is it on our team, or who do we need to get in, or who could we be collaborating or working with to make this happen? And then if we go over and look at the kind of platforms that we need, or the kinds of tools that we have available to us, and the kind of processes and workflow that we need, and you know, doing a bit of brainstorming to say, well, how is this all going to work? And you know, writing it out on paper, or on post-it notes, and moving the post-it notes around is always a great way to actually get a process worked out. And then the last thing is thinking about your reporting tools and your scheduling tools to actually make it happen. And I want to walk you through a quick example of what that might look like. So if we start with goals, which was at the middle of those circles, it's all about our mission, our target, and our metrics. So one example of a content marketing strategy might be that you want to increase year-on-year updo bookings for the November Racing Carnival. And you might want to, your target might be to have a 10% increase on last November. So your metrics you're going to be looking at is, we know we want to assess how many appointments we made, the kinds of services that were booked, and the average spend. So they're our goals. If we then look at our tactics, we can do a bit of research, really hone in on our personas, and then look at the kind of formats that we could be using. So our research could be, well, are there trends that are happening right now that perhaps that we could be promoting or talking about? If we did also look at, well, what did we do last year that worked? Did we send out emails? Did we, have a competition? Did we send out a newsletter? Did we have, a good mix of that kind of content in our social media channels? Did we do a live broadcast of things that are happening, and trends, and perhaps some insights into what's going to be new or looking great this year? And then formats. So you might think about creating a lookbook, and you might put that on Instagram now that you can have a carousel of images, or you might want to lay out your grid so it actually looks like a lookbook. You might want to upload a photo album to Facebook, which is also something that's like a lookbook. You might want to actually put a series of images in your newsletter around that, and you might actually even want to then go and support that with some ads as well, and maybe even sending out some text reminders perhaps to people who came last year to make sure that they book in again, and maybe within an offer that if they come with a friend they both get a discount or something like that. And then have a look at what assets that you've got. So looking at your brand and your style, looking at your identity. So what colors, wording, tone, imagery do you have that you've already got that could work? Or what do you need? And then look at your calendar and think about when your end dates are, and then plan back from that. So on the Ovkin website, we actually have a free calendar that you can download, where you can spread out all of the months and you can see them in front of you. So you can get a sense of, these are the dates, and then working back from that, what do we need to have done by certain times in order for this to be able to happen? And then processes. So doing a bit of brainstorming about, well, what other creative ideas could we come up with, and what other campaign initiatives would we like to give a go? And then your workflow and checklist. What needs to get done and how is it going to get done? And then the people, who is it going to actually make this campaign happen? Do we need to get models? Do we need a photographer? Do we need a copywriter? Do we need somebody to put together some collateral for us, or some digital files? Who else do we need? And this might also then come into looking at your platforms. So, you might be nifty on the camera yourself. You might be able to do that. You might have somebody in-house that is good at copy. You might use something like Canva to create some digital files from the templates that they have. Maybe store those files on Dropbox so people can pick them up from multiple locations, or you can distribute them out. MailChimp for your email, and then your social platforms, and then your blog and your homepage website. So what platforms are you actually going to be using to make this campaign come to life? And then looking at some scheduling tools. So things like Buffer and Hootsuite can be really helpful to schedule out your content. And if you're on Instagram, apps like Plan and Mosaic are really good for that. And then your reporting is obviously looking back at your analytics, perhaps on your social platforms, but then also your in-house analytics. So looking at your bookings and then your sales dollars. So what's involved in a successful content marketing strategy? These are my 5 top things. The number one thing is curiosity, kindness, authenticity, and courage. The greatest asset that you can have in any business today is to have an always learning mindset. If we get put off doing something because we're not sure how to do it, and we don't think that we have what we need to do it, we can often sit on the sidelines and wait until we think we've got it perfected and all worked out, until we've actually missed the opportunity. So in the area of digital marketing, I really want you to encourage you to say, it's okay to actually not know everything, but it's really important that you keep learning and keep open to new ideas. I want you to think about being generous and empathetic, both with yourself and with the people that you aim to serve. And I want you to be willing to be who you are and not to pretend to be anything that you're not. We want realness, we want humanity, we want authenticity, and then you won't stuff it up because you are who you are. And I want you to have the courage to take risks. The second thing is to actually make time. This is what marketing looks like these days, and it's not to be shoved in around the cracks of doing everything else in your business. To have a really pumping social media account or email marketing program or content that converts, it takes time. You need time to think, to plan, to learn, and to do. And even if it's just 1 hour a week where you sit down and you dedicate time to thinking about that and planning out some of your content to make it come to life, you're ahead of the game. The third thing is resources. You do need people to actually make this happen. But what I would say to you is, who on your team is keen to do it? Go to where the enthusiasm is already, because if they're enthusiastic, you already have some leverage there. And then have a look at what content you already have access to. You might have more than what you think. And then who could you collaborate with or leverage that might also have content that you could both share or that you could co-create. The fourth thing is planning. So always start with the end in mind and work backwards. Look at your monthly calendar and even maybe plan it out for a year, but then look at your weekly postings. So maybe Monday always is going to be an inspirational quote and Friday is always going to be a sales post. So thinking about that can help you then create content in batches and plan ahead, and then reviewing your plan. And then the fifth thing is executing and learning. So I want you to think that it's all about trying and trying again, because digital changes a lot. All we have to do is just keep testing and testing and testing. A digital marketer will never have a completely foolproof solution. No one can tell you that, because things just keep changing so much. So the opportunity is there to keep an open mindset and to keep in the game, to realize that done is better than perfect, and to get into it rather than sitting on the sidelines wondering, what if I only gave that a shot? And finally, I just wanted to give you an insight into the Content Kin e-course that we've created, which really takes the overview that I've given you and blow it all out and show you how to bring your content strategy to life. We created this Content Kin course because we know that there is actually a lot to know in this space and that it changes regularly. And a few insights, like some of the things that I've shared with you today, can actually make a huge difference. We know that when we've worked with people in this space, that it can feel very overwhelming to think about, well, how am I going to get all of that done? And who's going to be interested in what I have to say? And I don't have enough content to post and it's all too hard. Um, we know that when you have taken some time to plan out some of the things that we've talked about today, you will start feeling more on purpose, and you'll start to get more engagement from a growing tribe of people who are more interested in what you have to offer than just a passing glance. You'll start feeling more organized and in control, and we also give you insights into tools and techniques and productivity hacks. And once you get a good idea of what themes it is that your personas are interested in, so themes that really hit up on their goals, aspiration, pain points, and pressing needs, you'll find that this the idea of content marketing actually flows a lot easier. And the whole idea and outcome of doing the course is to grow your confidence and grow your business and grow your results. So we really believe in building up your courage to deliver content that creates clicks for your business. It's 6 learning packets that is self-paced and you have long-term access for. There's videos and case studies and templates, and we walk you through the curriculum starting with your brand why, and then giving you insights into statistics so you can know what platforms are right for you. We actually do get you to do the buyer persona exercise, and we have a template that you can download, and we walk you through how to do that. And we also have a business and brand persona to help you get consistency in your content voice and tone, particularly if it's being managed by more than one person and that isn't the founder of the business. We also look at more content types and topics and get you to do a content audit so you can tap into realizing that you actually have more content at your fingertips and you can produce content more quickly than what you might think. And we get you to think about what your content marketing mission is. So every time you come to think about what am I posting, you have a really clear idea of what it is that I'm doing and why am I doing it. We walk through your marketing calendars and we give you some great content examples and productivity hacks and some tools to monitor and manage your content marketing efforts. We also have a number of bonuses, and one of the ones that I really love is the smartphone photography, because you can actually get some really fantastic results from your smartphone and a couple of great photo editing apps. Within 20 minutes you could be taking much better photos on your phone than what you're taking now. And that's a bonus that we've built into the course, along with getting the most out of collaborations and PR, along with a couple of others there as well. So just as I have said throughout the class, timeliness is important. Creating content that offers real life insights and helps educate and inspire people, then also creates the opportunity to have an ask at the end. So you might be interested to join the Content Kin program if you want to find out how to really put your content marketing strategy together and walk through it as we hold your hand throughout the course. And we have a end of financial year offer that we've partnered with Shortcuts to deliver. So if you were keen to find out more about how to put your content marketing strategy together to really dive into the things that we've talked about today, we're offering a 25% discount for everyone that enrolls using the promo code 1705 Shortcuts if you enroll by Friday the 30th of June at midnight. No matter where you are around the world, that will apply. And if you go to ofkin.com/courses/contentkin and enter in that promo code, you'll receive the 25% discount before the end of the financial year and I think the tax man might also be quite happy for you to claim some educational expenses. I might be wrong, I'm not sure, but in some parts of the world that could be a good thing. We'd love to have you welcome to the family, to the Content Kin family, and to join us and in our private Facebook group page that we also have for people who attend the class as well. As we all continue to grow in this area and continue to dig into how content marketing can work for us in our businesses. Some final thoughts. I would really encourage you to choose courage over comfort, to give things a go, to dig in even in the face of uncertainty, because you don't learn without taking some risks, and nothing can substitute experience. And most importantly, done is better than perfect. So we would love to see you in the course. To choose courage with us, we'll hold your hand while you take some risks, and to be able to really take advantage of building your courage to create content that converts to clicks. Thanks so much, and we hope to see you again.